Today I'm talking about the 3 must-have lenses for wedding videography. First up is my new favorite lens that I've used and picked up recently. I've talked about it in a few videos up to this point, so if you missed those videos, I will link them here. But that lens is the Tamron 35-150 f2.8. This lens is just incredibly versatile, high quality, and covers a variety of focal ranges on the wedding day, making it a really solid choice for an all-day lens. Some of the benefits of using this lens include the versatility. Getting a range from 35 to 150 is very, very vast and really allows you to be that fly on the wall, capture things very documentary style, to really capture those nice intimate moments throughout the day. It's great for the ceremony, it's great for cocktail hour, the reception, speeches, you name it, this lens can really do it all. It allows you to capture that beautiful mix of wide, medium, and close so that you can build immersive scenes throughout the day. Next on the benefits is the image quality. Now, Tamron has crafted this lens with precision, ensuring that optical quality remains consistent throughout the entire focal range. This means that you're getting sharp and detailed images from 35 all the way up to 150. The next is the bokeh. The compression on this lens is absolutely amazing, and you can capture so much depth with this lens that it is just insane. And the last benefit is its durability. I mean, this lens is built like a brick. It is super solid, weather concealed, so you have that confidence knowing that it's going to stand up in those intense weather environments, and that's all you can really ask for out of any lens that you choose. Now, of course, some of the downsides, because there's always downsides when it comes to lenses and any type of camera gear known to man. And really, the first one is probably the investment. Now, this is not a cheap lens. You can get this lens for, I think it's around $2,000. But in my opinion, is that investment worth it? Yes. Because if you're gonna invest or over-invest in anything, lenses, high quality glass, and audio are the top 2 that I always recommend you over-invest in. Because it's gonna be a lot better long-term, it's gonna have a lot more longevity, and just give you a lot more return on your investment. And the next downside is the weight. Now this thing is, like I said, built like a brick. When I first picked it up, I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is like stout. And it's like 2.6 pounds and 6.2 inches in length. So it's heavy and it's long.
That's what she said.
But when it comes to pairing that with my handheld rig, it was really nice to use, honestly. It didn't feel too overbearing or too heavy, too top heavy. It took some getting used to. I wasn't really all that confident using it for the first time, I will say. But over time, I really started to fall in love with using this lens while going handheld, just because of the versatility and overall quality that I was able to achieve. So just be wary of that. If you're picking this lens up for the first time, it will take some getting used to, just getting comfortable with the weight of this lens. But if you pair it with the right setup and pairing it with a nice cage, top handle, side grip, it really does add that extra security and stability that I personally enjoy in my handheld rigs.
Imagine a world where you can work late and focus on what you love. You don't have to stay constantly stressed, you can do what you want. There's a group of people that are trained to do that sort of thing. There's a group of people that want to save you time. You gotta outsource. You gotta send those films. You can't do it all by yourself, 'cause that's no way to live. You gotta outsource. Ooh, with Uncut Gems, 'cause it's 65% off of your first order, and that is one heck of a deal. Use code WAYWARD65 at checkout at uncutgems.com. Start outsourcing today. Okay.
All right, the next must-have lens for wedding videography is the 50mm prime. Now, if you are ever in doubt when it comes to which lens you should choose for a wedding, honestly, you can never go wrong with a 50 prime. I personally have used my Sigma 50mm for an entire wedding day before. It's served me so well. It captures beautiful images, beautiful depth of field. The bokeh's insane. It's a low light beast. It's just super high quality and perfect for weddings. It's the perfect portrait lens to help you build immersive scenes, capture beautiful depth of field, and compositions within every frame. So what are the overall benefits? Well, I just listed a few of them, but the first is the fact that it is a low light beast. So with any kind of prime lens, having that low aperture, 1.2, 1.4, those are going to be really solid for capturing those low light situations, getting that nice depth of field, that separation from your character in the background, getting that beautiful bokeh. All of those things is where a prime lens really shines. And the 50mm is just the perfect focal length to really capture a variety of shots and create those immersive shots that you see in most wedding films. And now, of course, every lens has a downside, and with the 50mm, really there are only a few that I can think of. The first is the fact that it is a fixed lens, which means that you can't zoom in, you can't zoom out to change your focal range. You really have to focus on your positioning to really create those immersive scenes. And in my opinion, this is a great skill set to learn when it comes to navigating a wedding day, so that you aren't reliant on those zoom lenses to just do all the work for you, so to speak, of being able to stay still, get your shot, zoom in, and move on. With a 50mm, it just forces you to be a bit more creative and proactive with all of the different shots and perspectives that you're capturing. Now, that might be a downside to some of you, but for me, I see it as a really great opportunity to practice your craft and get better at the filmmaking process. And the next downside is maybe the limitation when it comes to smaller spaces. Now, a 50mm is great for most weddings, but if your venue space is very small, you're really confined, the 50mm might not be the best solution, because every shot that you capture might just end up being a really close-up shot versus having that versatility with medium and wide. So it's always a good idea to have a wider lens at your disposal, just in case the venue space isn't as large as you hoped. Which leads me into the third and final must-have lens for wedding videography, and that, of course, is the Sigma 24-70. Doesn't have to always be Sigma. It could be Sony, it could be Canon. A 24-70 in general is a great all-day lens to consider. Similar to the 35-150, the 24-70 is a super versatile lens with the ability to cover an entire wedding from start to finish. 24mm is the perfect range for capturing those establishing shots to really start your scene with a beautiful wide shot, zooming in, getting a medium, zooming in further, and getting a close-up, all to help you immerse the couple into their story. So of course, the benefits is the versatility in focal range between 24 and 70. Believe it or not, you still get beautiful depth of field and bokeh even at 2.8. It does have a little bit more of a narrow depth of field, but it isn't as noticeable as you might think, and you can really get away with capturing some beautiful shots with this lens, especially at the larger focal ranges like 50 and 70. It's super compact and lightweight, which is a huge bonus, especially if you're navigating a wedding day from start to finish and you're looking for a lens that can be an all-day lens. This one's going to fit the bill perfectly. And it's very high quality at an affordable price. Sigma is known for having really high quality glass at affordable price tags. Now, some of the downsides with using Sigma and Sony, I recently learned that it's not compatible with active image stabilization. Not even that much of a deal breaker for me, honestly. It doesn't really affect the overall image, in my opinion, but it is good to know if you are looking for something that can be a little bit more suitable for the camera you're using. Native lenses are always a good idea to consider when buying any kind of lens, but if you're looking to save some money, Sigma's always a good investment. Now, of course, the downsides with using a zoom over a prime is it's not going to be as great in low light, which is why I do recommend switching to a 50mm during the reception and using the Sigma 24-70 throughout the daylight portions of the wedding. And then the last downside with the Sigma 24-70 is the autofocus is spotty at times. It's not really the best. But me personally, I don't really rely on autofocus all that much because I practice manual focus early on because I had to, because there weren't lenses and cameras that really had good autofocus back in the day. Yes, I'm a dinosaur, I get it. But if you are just starting, I always recommend practicing manual focus from the start, really getting good at that skill, because you don't want to be reliant on your camera. You really want to just have all the skills necessary to capture a wedding day and use tools that can help you achieve those results. And yes, autofocus is a great tool, but it's not something that I would always rely on. So there you have my top 3 must-have lenses for wedding videography: the Tamron 35-150, the 50mm prime, and the Sigma 24-70. Hope you guys found this video helpful and valuable in some way. If you did, it would mean so much if you consider liking and subscribing, and drop a comment below. Let me know, what is your all-time favorite lens? What's a lens that you can't go a wedding day without? Drop them below. I'd love to hear from you guys. And until next time, keep creating and telling beautiful stories. Peace.